2020, and it is 6:30 p.m. And you are here with us at the Common Council of the City of Wausau. The first order of business is our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Liberty, justice for all.
Thank you. Next up, roll call. Clerk Leslie will call it.
Peckham,
Here.
Martins, Killian,
Here.
Neal,
Here.
Wadinsky,
Here.
McElhaney,
Here.
Rasmussen, here, Watson,
Here.
Herbst, here, Larson,
Here.
Ryan.
Does anybody know her phone number? Because we do have a call-in user. Okay, then that's not her.
Okay, we have 10 members present.
Thank you very much. Next on our agenda are proclamations. I do have one proclamation on this steamy July day for Christmas in July. Whereas bringing the spirit of Christmas into the month of July is a great way for the community to rally together behind children in need, and whereas the children staying in the Marshfield Children's Hospital could benefit from such joy, and whereas Santa Claus will be bringing happiness to all the children watching for him from the windows, and whereas Santa Claus will be dropping off many toys for the children, and whereas the happiness that Santa will bring and leave a lasting memory for the children. Now therefore I, Katie Rosenberg, Mayor of the City of Wausau, do hereby proclaim July 25th, 2020 as Christmas in July in the City of Wausau, and ask that all citizens hold the spirit of Christmas in their hearts while sending their best wishes to the children in the Marshfield Children's Hospital and all children around the world that spend part of their childhood under special care. I have Greg Semke. I don't know if you're here. Okay. All right. We have him here, so I'll present it.
Here's the front here. Sorry, we just have a picture of the hospital.
Okay.
Tell mine, yes, sir. Thank you. Sure. I want to thank the mayor for this proclamation. This is the sixth year of the Christmas in July charity. And what this charity does is, one, collects toys for the Children's Miracle Network Hospital in Marshfield. That's the only children's hospital in the area. It serves all of central and northern Wisconsin, okay, as a dedicated children's hospital. So we raise tons of toys. Every year we have probably 1,500 toys or so that we go in with for the Christmas in July charity. The ride, we do a motorcycle ride, okay? I'm Santa Claus, I ride a motorcycle, and we leave Bull Falls. It's going to be next Saturday. Santa Claus is going to arrive at Harley at between 9:30 and 10 o'clock via a helicopter. So he's coming in from the North Pole by helicopter, and then he we'll be doing the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll be doing the national anthem, as well as say a prayer for the children in the hospital, as well as the riders. And we're going to take off from Harley-Davidson in Rothschild, and we end up at the Children's Hospital in Marshfield. Every year we visit with the kids, we give them the toys, et cetera, et cetera. This year we cannot do it with the pandemic going on, so we're just going to have a parade ride through where the children will be in the windows, and we'll be revving the engines and beeping the horns, and Santa will be having a good time waving to them. Besides the toys, the charity also raises money for something that's non-budgeted for the Children's Hospital. For example, one year the Children's Hospital asked if Santa could help them with Nintendo Wii U systems for the hospital. They had one unit, and they had to sign them out, and they could put it into the child's room and they could play Nintendo. Right now, every room in the Children's Hospital has Nintendo Wii U systems permanently installed. with over a vending machine in the hallway with over 400 items that they can use and play with on Nintendo. So year after year, the charity goes after something that the hospital needs. This year, we're trying to raise funding, which is very difficult this year with everything being canceled. It's very difficult to do because of the pandemic. What I'm trying to raise money for is if anybody had an MRI, you know what an MRI is. You go in the tube and you go with the magnets. It's very noisy. So when you want a little child to go through an MRI and to hold still for 15, 20 minutes, it's very difficult to do. So the majority of the children to have MRI, they need to be sedated. So once a child is sedated, that means that they're going to be in the hospital probably for the next 6 to 8 hours because they have to go through recovery protocol before that child is released or be able to go back. So what I'm trying to do is raise funding for a MRI movie system that the children, it's a movie system that goes in the MRI machine. The child is able to watch a movie of their choice because it's downloaded. It has headphones that are noise canceling, so you can't hear the magnets and you can't hear anything. And they have their total focus on the movie. And by doing that, they do not need to be sedated, or the drugs have to be very minuscule for them to do that. White papers have been written. The Children's Hospital in Marshfield does not have one of these systems, but there are systems like this throughout the country with great success with not needing to sedate the children. So that's what I'm doing. So, Mayor, I want to thank you for this. I really appreciate this proclamation. And anybody that wants to come down to Harley-Davidson between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, if you have any kids, bring them down, see Santa Claus from the North Pole coming on a helicopter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a cause that's near to my heart. When I was 18, I started volunteering with Children's Miracle Network, so thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is public comment. The first person registered to comment is Christine Sound Little. And if you could state your name and your address for the record.
Hello. Christine Somm Little, 3312 North 11th Street, Wausau. I'm here today to speak in support of the mayor's formation of the policing task force. I had the honor of working on the committee that organized the George Floyd March on June 6th here in Wausau. With the mayor's support and with the Wausau Police Department standing with us, 1,500 citizens peacefully marched for George Floyd and for all black and brown people who have been victims of police brutality, a national policing construct built on a foundation of systemic racism. The march was only the beginning. We have a lot of work to do. In Wisconsin, blacks are 6.3% of residents, but accounted for 24% of those killed by police, according to Mapping Police Violence. It is painfully obvious that in Wisconsin and nationwide, accountability in policing, restructuring of training, and a review of resource allocation are needed to ensure that black and brown people feel safe and protected in their communities. I am encouraged by the transparency of the Wausau Police Department. I'm grateful for the leadership of Chief Bliven. In a recent follow-up meeting with the George Floyd March Committee, Chief Bliven expressed his desire to listen to feedback from Wausau residents and to do the work needed to institute the changes that will improve policing in Wausau. Excuse me. These changes will help to ensure people of color see the police as a positive presence and as a part of a community that is committed to protecting their safety and well-being. In cities like Newark, New Jersey, the implementation of community-led strategies, like the ones Mayor Rosenberg has referenced in the Policing Task Force proposal, has meant notable drops in crime rates. If we invest in the ability of black and brown communities to shape the laws that govern us, I believe Wausau can be a leader and serve as an example for other municipalities in the state to show that police reform is an effective and a necessary step towards dismantling systemic racism. Thank you, Mayor Rosenberg, for your leadership and your demonstrated commitment to reform and implement policies that protect communities of color in our community. Thank you.
The next person, we have LaTanya Campbell. If you could say your name and your address for the record, thank you.
Good evening. My name is LaTanya Campbell. My address is 808 North 2nd Avenue in Wausau, Wisconsin. I would like to take the time to just thank you for allowing me to speak during your meeting. I have been a Wausau since beginning in 2008. I've had the opportunity to review the mayor's proposal on creating a policing task force, and as appointed member of the Marathon County Diversity Commission, as well as the mayor's Welcoming and Inclusivity Committee, and a residing resident, I am in full support of the task force. Systemic and institutionalized racism is often subtle, covert, and unconscious. It is vital to have some actionable steps to bring awareness and take accountability in eradicating these systems. Marathon County is unique in the provisions already set forth. Current policies can be strengthened using a multicultural lens and framework. I encourage you today to also show your support in favor of this joint task force. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all I have as far as registered comments. So we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, and that's communications and recommendations from the mayor, policing task force. So I included this in your packet, so you could take a look and read through it. Obviously, it's been a challenging discussion between municipalities, between citizens and police, law enforcement. We've had some interesting discussions nationally. And then here in Wausau, we've had different types of discussions. You know, we talked through, you know, right off the bat, we heard about 8 Can't Wait campaign, the Obama mayor's pledge, and things like that. People asking for changes to policing protocol. So as I'm exploring this, I'm finding out that we actually in Wausau have we're ahead of the curve in a lot of ways. We have our policies published on our website. If you looked at the 8 Can't Wait campaign, you'll see that Wausau already follows a lot of those protocols, all of them actually, and we do more than that even. So the approach I'm taking here is more of a kind of a deliberate inquiry into what we are doing, so that the public has confidence in our system. But also, what could we be doing in the future? What will get us to the next level? What will help people trust us more? So you can see I put together a mission and a purpose. You know, I've already gotten some community feedback, which I'm really pumped about, because I think that will only make this better. And the reason I'm presenting this to you tonight in a communications and recommendations format is that I would like you, as the policy body, to take some time with this and think about what you hope to get out of a task force like this. Think about, is this the right approach? What do you need to know out of this? You know, I listed several outcomes that I'd like to see, but I want to hear from you. The other thing that I'm going to do starting next week will be asking the community to give me some feedback on this, what people are looking for. I'll have an online version, and then I'll do something in person. We'll be setting some things up. And, you know, I also want to hear from members of our police department about how they're reacting to our current discussions. I'll be working all day from the police department this week on Friday. So I want to be open to the possibility that maybe this isn't quite there yet, but I would love for feedback from all of you, feedback from the community, anybody that's listening. So I also have Chief Bliven on the line. We've talked a lot about this. So I guess, I don't know if you have anything you want to say, Chief.
Yeah, can you hear me okay? I'm getting a little circle like it's not working okay.
We got you.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, I guess first of all, I would say I appreciate the comments from Ms. Salm and Ms. Campbell. We have an opportunity here. We've done a lot of talking and discussion in our community around these issues. I've met with a lot of people and had conversations. I think the thing I like about this task force is that it gives us opportunity for action, right? Which is what I think is appropriate. Discussions are important so that we can understand each other's perspectives, but I think action is an important piece. So I do have some comments just to give The council, some feedback from me in regards to how I feel about the Mayor's Policing Task Force. And she's right, we've had a lot of discussion about this, and I am in support of this task force for a lot of reasons that I'll talk and outline right now. I want, first and foremost, I want our community to see our police officers and our police department for the professionalism that we display on a daily basis. And that's why I'm excited about the task force. I think, I believe that's what our community will see. That's not to say that we're perfect by any stretch of the imagination. We have a lot of ability to grow and get better, but we take great pride in our work and in our profession. And so one of the things that I'm hopeful about this task force is that this task force localizes the issues in law enforcement. So comparing our department to a larger city like Minneapolis or Milwaukee isn't the best comparison. When we use national statistics that assess use of force statistics within certain demographics, doesn't adequately describe what's happening here in Wausau. So it's important that we look at local data. And the national narrative may inform part of our conversation, but I think it's important to localize the discussion that the task force has. I've been in law enforcement for more than 20 years, and there's a few things that I've learned, I think, that's important to this conversation. And I would say, first of all, is that every law enforcement agency is unique. We're all different. And so what I mean by that is we have different leaders, different leadership philosophy. Different histories, our union contracts are different, our community expectations are different. We have different demographics, different city councils and mayors, different historical leadership, different school districts, citizens gate, like all of those things are different. And so it's imperative that every citizen that has a concern about how law enforcement conducts themselves starts with evaluating your own local police and sheriff's department. Each department has different strengths and weaknesses, and we all have the ability to improve. So I guess that's a long-winded way of saying it's important to me that we really evaluate the issues on a local level. We can discuss national law enforcement shooting deaths, trends, inequities, but those national trends are frequently not the same as local trends. I had the opportunity last week, to share that mayor's draft charter with our department. And I asked them for feedback and what they thought about it. And I want to share one officer's a statement because I think it shows the interest from our department in this initiative, and it shows, I think, the heart of our staff. And this is what he said. I think it's great. If I could add one thing, I'd probably take a look at that first paragraph in the mission. It appropriately recognizes that the safety of residents and visitors is paramount. Officer safety should be equal to that, in my view. I'd hate to see the result of this great effort being changes that ultimately make officers less safe. But it's also important to send a message both to officers and to the community that we all need to value each other. And I think that's a really important message and something that I really hope the task force takes into consideration. I think another important piece for the task force to understand is the why in law enforcement policies, kind of trying to understand the current state. Some of the things that we do are governed by state law, the Wisconsin Law Enforcement Standards Board, case law, our accrediting body, WILEA. So I think it's important for the task force to be ready to do very heavy lifting to develop a clear understanding of how we operate today and why. And that isn't to say that, we can't change or improve, but hopefully so that you can understand our current state of where we are today and how we got here. I think if the task force operates in that way, it allows them to be much more effective and precise in recommendations for change or improvement. So this one, I'll just say it. I think the task force needs to be apolitical. As a community, if we can come together to collaborate about the best interests of our community and set politics aside, I think we'll be better able to have solution-oriented conversations that make our community, make our city better. That isn't to say that we're not going to have uncomfortable, difficult, passionate conversations, but setting politics aside allows us the ability to better collaborate and get to better results. So I'm supportive of the mayor's task force. We've had lots of conversations about it. Our vision for the police department is to be regarded as the standard of excellence in policing. We want our community to see us as the best. We want to be the best for our community. We can't achieve that vision without complete transparency and buy-in from our community. This task force gives us opportunity to be even more transparent. I've said regularly that I believe we are one of the most transparent law enforcement agencies in the state of Wisconsin, and we can get better on that. There's no doubt in my mind. So this task force gives community members the opportunity to provide feedback and input into our operations. We welcome these conversations, thoughts, critiques, ideas on how we can do better. We will continue to engage in productive, collaborative conversations, but more importantly, action to make our community a better place for everyone. I think the Wausau Police Department's made up of great men and women who are here to serve this community. We hire for character. We have a high level of accountability. We have an extensive hiring process. We're an accredited law enforcement agency. And I said this a few weeks ago, if you look into the hearts of our police officers, you're going to like what you see. I have no doubt. So it makes me excited to be a part of the task force. And no doubt there's in my career at least, there's never been a more difficult time to be a police officer than right now. I don't say that to garner support or pity. I say it to acknowledge that our police officers are doing a very difficult job under what I think are historically difficult circumstances. But also, we know we have work to do to be the best version of ourselves. We're committed to doing that work, and I think the Mayor's Law Enforcement Task Force will help us in that work. So I'm definitely supportive of that, and thank you for listening to that.
Thank you. I guess just to wrap up a couple of things here. One of the things that, we don't talk a lot about at council is that we have a police and fire commission who is statutorily required with the hiring, firing, and discipline of police and fire officers. So that'll be something that I'll include. There'll be members from the police and fire commission. We'll kind of explore how they do their jobs of hiring, what are they looking for, how do they go through this. And then I guess under the definitions, I also included, very basic systemic and institutional racism. I think this is one of those things that's kind of hard to put into one sentence because it really has kind of built everything that we know. So I think going into this with the concept that, we are going to be asking tough questions about what actually built our government, what built all of our organizations. So I think it's going to be important for us to just be entering into this discussion with an open mind, understanding it's not just about policing at that point. It's about everything here. It's about what we're doing here. It's about who we bring to the table every day. So that's another thing I just want to make sure I point out here. I don't know if there are any questions or comments that anyone has.
Their buttons are working.
The buttons?
Their request to speak button.
Oh, apparently request to speak buttons are not working?
No, they are.
Oh, they are working. So you can feel free to request to speak if you'd like to. Otherwise, just notice that there is an opportunity for a Wausau Alder on this task force. So if you're interested, I'd like to know. Okay. Guess we're ready to move on. Thank you very much. We're moving on to our consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Motion by Neil. Second by somebody. Oh, second by Herbst. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? All right, I guess we will have a roll call vote with Clerk Leslie.
Larson?
Aye.
Herbst?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Rasmussen? Aye. McElhaney?
Aye.
Wadinsky?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Killian?
Aye.
Martins?
Aye.
Peckham? Alder Peckham? Alder Peckham, I think you need to unmute yourself.
Somebody did me dirt. Okay. Aye.
Thank you. And then just to check, Alder Ryan, have you joined? Okay. Motion passes 11-0.
All right. We are moving on. We'll skip over mayor's appointments. We're moving on to file number 200711. So-
Correction.
Oh,
Leslie, wouldn't it be 10?
Yep, 10-0.
Thank
Thank you.
all right. Now we're moving on to file number 200711. That's a resolution from the Economic Development Committee approving the sale of 8104 Enterprise Drive in the Wausau Business Campus to Fisher and Son Transport, DBA AC and Sons Party Tent Rentals for $25,000 for the construction of a 15,400 square foot office and warehouse building. Do I have a motion? Motion by Rasmussen, second by Neal. Is there any discussion here? Looks like we're ready to vote.
Peckham,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Killian,
No.
Neal,
Aye.
Wadinsky,
Aye.
McElhaney,
Aye.
Rasmussen. Aye. Watson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Motion passes 9-1.
Thank you very much. We are moving on to file number 150708. It's also a resolution from the Economic Development Committee authorizing the execution of a parking lot lease with River Life Wausau LLC. That's on Fulton Street between River's Edge Trail and North River Drive. Do I have a motion? Motion by Watson, second by Larson. Is there any discussion here? All right, I think we're ready to vote.
Larson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Rasmussen. Aye. McElhaney. Wadinsky,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Killian,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Peckham.
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you very much. Moving on to file number 121017. It's a resolution from the Finance Committee approving the amendment for storage space for Stone Mill Historic Sawmill structure with Andy Johnson. Do I have a motion? Motion by Rasmussen. Do I, a second by Martins? Is there any discussion? I'm not seeing any. Are we ready to vote?
Peckham,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Killian,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Wadinsky,
Aye.
McElhaney.
Aye.
Rasmussen. Aye. Watson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you very much. We are moving on to file number 200112. It's a resolution from the HR Committee approving restructuring of Police Department clerical staffing. Do I have a motion? Motion by Wadinsky. Second by McElhaney. Is there any discussion here? All right, there is none. Let's vote.
Rasmussen. Aye. Watson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Peckham,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Killian,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Wadinsky,
Aye.
McElhaney.
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
All right, file number 200713. It's a resolution from the HR Committee ratifying the city's DOT alcohol and anti-drug policy. Do I have a motion? Motion by Wadinsky. Second by Martins. Is there any discussion? I don't see any discussion. I think we're ready to vote.
McElhaney,
Aye.
Wadinsky,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Killian,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Peckham,
Aye.
Rasmussen. Aye. Watson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you very much. We are moving on to file number 200704. It's a resolution from the Plan Commission approving a conditional use at 200 Park Avenue to allow for community gardens in an urban mixed-use zoning district. Do I have a motion? Motion by Rasmussen, second by Neal. Is there any discussion here? Not seeing any.
Tom has his
Oh, Tom. Sorry, Alder Killian.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, I just have a question about this. Will there be produce in these gardens? Yes. Well, one concern I have, and it goes beyond just this location, but it would be the approach to community gardens in current and former industrial areas in general. If I'm not mistaken, this is right next to a Superfund site and a chemical factory, as well as it looks like perhaps some former industrial sites like a Wausau Energy site that I knew had some historical soil issues. And I think these types of concepts, they're great concepts when done prudently. But I just feel, given the surrounding area, it would be both reasonable and I think wise to just do a basic assessment of the disposition of the soil that would surround these gardens, given the kind of extreme environmental conditions that have surrounded them historically. So I would support something like this, but I think given the history and the location, just some basic sampling may be warranted.
Thank you, Alder Killian. Alder Rasmussen.
Thank you. I guess just for clarification, it was my understanding that when we were approving community gardens, the vast majority of them resemble raised beds where garden soil is brought in and put into a wood frame structure that then is planted in. They're not planting into the soil or whatever's on site. They're setting something on top and filling it and then gardening accordingly. At least that's how the community gardens that are already downtown were set up. I don't know if anyone knows if this would be the same principle, but that should address some of those concerns because clean garden soil would be in there.
Okay. I don't know if anyone has an answer, but I see Alder Killian, your hand is up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That would not, I think that's certainly a positive, but that would not alleviate my concern just due to deposition of soil and dust from surrounding areas. So I know as a body we've discussed these types of issues before, and I think it's one reason that we keep coming to these questions over and over again. And if we had, I think, some environmental justice policy, we wouldn't be going into these as blind. But yeah, I mean, there's a Superfund site right next to it with known historical spills. I think there are some perhaps uninvestigated spills to the north of this at a Wausau Energy site. I think it doesn't have to be extensive, but we should be doing some due diligence to make sure when residents around the city are deindustrializing these areas and planting produce, that we at least do some basic investigative work to make sure there are no glaring issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Killian. I'm not sure that is it typical that we test properties that we don't own before we allow for a rezone? I'm not sure. I'm seeing head shaking. It's not typical. I'm not saying that's not something we couldn't consider. I see Alder Peckham, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I am in frequent touch with the coordinator of the community gardens and the director of the Bridge Community Clinic, and I will bring this concern to them. I know that the garden coordinator is very concerned about anything that's sprayed anywhere near that garden or anything that would contaminate the food raised within that garden. So I will bring this to his attention, and I think they can handle it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alder Peckham. Alder Rasmussen? Nope. Is there any further discussion, or are we ready to vote? I think we're ready to vote.
Peckham?
Aye.
Martins?
Aye.
Killian?
No.
Neal?
Aye.
Wadinsky?
Aye.
McElhaney?
Aye.
Rasmussen?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Herbst?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Motion passes 9-1.
All right, thank you very much. All right, the next item on our agenda is I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules, 6B, filing, and 12A, Referral of resolutions, this requires a 2/3 vote. Do I have a motion? Motion by Neal. Second by Watson. Is there any discussion? I think we're ready to vote.
Larson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
McElhaney, Wadinski,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Killian,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Peckham.
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
All right, thank you very much. File number 200310. It's a resolution ratifying the revised policy for employees with symptoms or exposure of the novel COVID-19 coronavirus. I would entertain a motion. Motion by Martin, second by McElhaney. Is there any discussion? Alder Rasmussen.
Thank you. Just a question. I noticed that this item, which I would assume falls within the purview of the HR committee, has this item been to the HR committee? Because I see that looks like on the agenda that it's coming as direct legislation. Because it's listed as a resolution of the council, not the committee. And I have said previously, I want to make sure that we use our committee process to the best extent we can, because if we don't, we undermine it. So if there's something that belongs in a committee, I want it in a committee first.
And I'm not sure why this was agendized in that matter. It did pass through committee
It did,
last
okay.
month.
I'm
And
good
in fact,
with that.
we took an updated version up yesterday, which is going to come to you guys next month,
Mm-hmm.
so that we didn't even need to suspend the rules on this. I think that was possibly just an oversight.
Okay, that was just my concern, is that we're vetting our stuff in committee, and if there's stuff that doesn't fit in a committee, then we'll take it in a committee of the whole.
Yeah,
But-
this passed the Human Resources Committee unanimously
Okay.
in the June meeting.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any other discussion? I think we're ready to vote. Oh, okay. We are ready to vote. That wasn't a question, sorry.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Larson,
Aye.
Peckham,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Killian,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Wadinski,
Aye.
McElhaney. Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you very much. We're moving on to item number 080404. It's an ordinance creating section 1.08.060, the Board of Absentee Ballot Canvassers. I'm not sure, is there anything that you'd like to say on this?
Does anybody have any questions about the memo or anything?
Oh, I guess I would take a motion maybe before we start discussing. Motion by Watson, second by Rasmussen. Alder Rasmussen.
Thank you. I think that it's important for us to discuss this a little bit based on its impact, because it's really positive. And so I think maybe, and I guess correct me if I'm wrong, the idea of this came after the mayor went and worked the poll and realized how much time poll workers spend trying to wade through absentee ballots while they are running the poll at a busy election. And the question came up, well, why don't we just have a central count for something like this, which is certainly legal to do. So I'm glad to see that she brought this to us, because I think this is an important change that really could streamline the process at our polling sites. So, and I just hope that we wouldn't pass it unanimously and that the public not understand that this is a big deal, because it's a real big positive for us.
So this is actually not something that I knew we could do, but I did notice that my elections chief at the poll spent all day, the entire, hours that the polls were open, working on absentee ballots. And I think it will only be more so in a presidential. Alder Watson.
I think this is an awesome idea, just because I think it'll allow the ballots to be more secure. You don't have to worry about transporting them, more efficient, and then you can probably train the people that are going to look at these a little bit better than if you're at the polls. So I really strongly support this.
Great. Are there any other? Oh, yes, Clerk Leslie would like to comment.
So thank you for the support. I completely agree with everything that you have said. It definitely will streamline the process, and in the times that we have, we know the challenges that we've had with the elections, with COVID and everything going on this year. It allows our poll workers to focus on the polls on Election Day, and it allows our absentee ballot processors to focus on the absentee ballots. So I do think this is a positive thing. I think we're gonna really see a lot of support for this, just from our poll workers as well.
All right, I think we're ready to vote.
Peckham,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Killian,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Wadinski,
Aye.
McElhaney,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you very much. We are moving on to file number 911008. It's a resolution from the Finance Committee modifying the revenue policy. I don't know if there's anything we want to say before. I would take a motion. Motion by Watson, second by Rasmussen. Is there any discussion? Alder Rasmussen.
No specific discussion, but since none of these items yet have minutes, do you want us to comment briefly on the gist
Sure,
of them
that'd be great.
and how we got there?
Sure.
So we talked about all of these tonight in finance, and they're all here tonight because we only have one council meeting in July. And so rather than hold them off for an entire month, that's why you see that the 6-day rule has been waived off. So this particular item amends our revenue policy, and let me just shift back here to it. I had it up on my agenda, but it did pass unanimously in finance, and it really is just a housekeeping item to modify that revenue policy. Same thing with the capital policy. We've basically changed committee of the whole to CIP committee and changed those to reflect our current practices. So not a whole lot of new things happening there. And this is, the revenue policy is the one that picks up the new collection mechanism. Is that correct? So we'll be using a state process to collect previously uncollectible debt, and their efforts are a little more robust than what we've done in the past, and the chance that we will collect most or all of our money is actually increased by the process. So we were excited to see this one, and it passed.
Thank you. Alder Watson.
One really compelling thing for me for this was that instead of reducing the amount of money that is collected, they add that surcharge, so the processing fee or collection fee is not something that we would lose. So that was a really big bonus.
Is there any further discussion? I think we're ready to vote.
Larson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Peckham,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Killian,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Wadinski,
Aye.
McElhaney.
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you very much. Moving on to file number 911008. It's another resolution from the Finance Committee modifying the capital policy. Motion by Watson. Second by Herbst. Any discussion? I think we're ready to vote.
McElhaney,
Aye.
Wadinski,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Killian,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Peckham,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you very much. We're moving on to file number 200712, resolution from the Finance Committee authorizing the installation of protective glass within the clerk customer service area to protect the public health and reduce the risk of transmission in public facilities. Do I have a motion? Motion by Watson, second by Larson. Is there any discussion here?
I have a question.
Yes, Mr. Peckham.
Thank you. I'm just wondering what it's going to look like. I see that they have some kind of hung plexiglass in there. Is it going to be like the same height? What are we going to get?
I'm going to turn it over to the Finance Director.
The glass now will be from the bottom of the counter all the way up to the ceiling. And there will be microphones installed so that the communication between the customer service staff and the customer is amplified, because right now, even with those small sneeze guards, the staff is having a hard time communicating with the residents, particularly some of our older residents are having a hard time understanding the customer service staff because of that sneeze guard. So you'll see them step aside of the sneeze guard, which basically undermines the whole system. So this is going to be full glass. And then there'll be a little area to slip documents back and forth.
If you could put your hand down, Alder Peckham, it would give Michelle. Thank you.
Very good.
Is there any other discussion?
Go.
I guess I would also just point out that we will be applying for reimbursement through COVID grants. So this is also a good opportunity to get that project done. So I guess we're ready to vote.
McElhaney?
Aye.
Walensky?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Killian?
Aye.
Martins?
Aye.
Peckham?
Aye.
Rasmussen?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Herbst?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you very much. We're moving on to file number 200708. It's a resolution from the Finance Committee approving the property lease agreement with Lunda Construction at 180 East Wausau Avenue. I would entertain a motion. Motion by Rasmussen, second by Herbst. Any discussion? Alder Rasmussen.
Thank you. I'll just offer us a little explanation on the things that aren't self-explanatory, because this particular item, Lunda Construction is the contractor who's performing the bridge deck work for us on the Bridge Street Bridge. They're looking for an area, which is a site we already own, to stage supplies and equipment, and they've actually offered to pay for that privilege, and so that passed unanimously in finance, and we agreed upon a flat fee of $300. So that's where we left off with that, and hopefully we'll support it.
Is there any further discussion? I'm not seeing any. I think we're ready to vote.
Peckham?
Aye.
Martins?
Aye.
Killian?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Walensky?
Aye.
McElhaney?
Aye.
Rasmussen?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Herbst?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you very much. We are moving on to file number 191109. It's a resolution from the Finance Committee authorizing the modification of fees to the City of Wausau Fees and Licenses Schedule adopted pursuant to the Wausau Municipal Code 3.40.010A, and it's in the 2020 Comprehensive Fee Schedule. And this one is specifically about the pet licensing penalty. Would you like to just give us a little?
Sure. The Finance Committee considered and decided to approve waiving the late fees on pet licenses through September 15th this year. Our pet license penalty can be as much as $120 per pet, and there have been a number of barriers to prevent people from licensing their pet on a timely basis. The stay-at-home orders, the closure of City Hall, the closure of vet clinics because people had to have timely rabies vaccinations before they're allowed to license. And so, we did hear some stories from residents about how difficult it is, and, with people's jobs, paying that penalty is really placing a hardship on some families. And really, the goal of the licensing is to get pets vaccinated and to get them licensed so that if they stray, they can be reunited with their owners. So by giving this waiver, we think that we're doing the right thing for the community as well as the pets. And the estimated impact was about $3,500 because that's about how much we made last year. So, and that was our budget for the fees. So even though we would have had more people in penalty phase, we weren't counting on those revenues.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion before we get started. Motion by Watson, second by Martins. All right, now we're ready for discussion. Alder Larson.
I'm going to support this because, as the clerk Creamer knows, I was one of these people that was caught up in this dilemma, and had I not had ties to City Hall, I probably would still be in this boat of not having to get my pet license. So I'm going to support this fully. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? I think we're ready to vote.
Peckham?
You're going to pay double.
Aye.
Martins?
Aye.
Killian?
My God.
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Walensky?
Aye.
McElhaney? Rasmussen?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Herbst?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you very much. Moving on to file number 191109, a resolution approving the 2020 budget modification for the increase of hot mix for 2020. I would enter, motion by Rasmussen, second by Herbst. Is there any discussion? Yes, Alder Rasmussen.
Thank you. This also passed unanimously on finance, and this is really a line item transfer so that the streets department can make an adjustment and engage in more robust patch activity rather than just pothole filling. Somewhere between complete street reconstruction and asphalt overlay and pothole filling lies a process called skin patch, which can get you about 5 to 7 years out of that pavement and hopefully help us get a little bit ahead of some of our patching and paving obligations. We've talked about using this a little more in the SISM committee to try and get ahead of our backlog of infrastructure. So DPW is working on acquiring milling and paving equipment, and they would like to engage in some more of this activity, so we're happy to send it forward.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? Yes, Alder Larson.
My question for Alder Rasmussen is does this include the grinder we had talked about too, the street grinder to grind up the?
equipment, this is just the asphalt.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we're ready to vote.
Larson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Rasmussen,
Aye.
McElhaney, Wadinski,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Killian,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Peckham.
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you. File number 191109, it's a resolution from the Finance Committee approving the 2020 budget modification for the science shop storage. Oof. I would entertain a motion. Motion by Martin, second by Neal. Is there any discussion? Alder Rasmussen.
Thank you. This one also passed unanimously. The sign shop has requested a better system to archive and store materials and supplies, and so the department has come up with some line item transfers that they can make to pay for those items without new spending. And so we passed that also unanimously.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? I think we're ready to vote.
Peckham,
Aye.
Martins,
Aye.
Killian,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Wadinski,
Aye.
McElhaney, Rasmussen,
Aye.
Watson,
Aye.
Herbst,
Aye.
Larson.
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you very much. File number 080609, it's a resolution from the Finance Committee approving parking space lease agreement with Balding Eagle, Inc. for athletic parking. I would entertain a motion. Motion by Watson, second by Larson. Alder Rasmussen.
Thank you. This one also passed unanimously. This should excite baseball fans. You'll recall that for years, we were able to park overflow parking for Athletic Park in the Wilson Hurd lot. It was gravel. It wasn't in very good shape, but people still overwhelmingly would park down there. Last year, we lost that ability, and we had to find other places for fans to park. And this actually would restore the ability to use that Wilson Hurd lot again under the condition that we pave it, which is a minor expense. So this would really, I think, enhance the appeal of Athletic Park for years to come. So I hope we support this, and Finance was happy to move it forward.
Is there any other discussion? Alder Larson.
How much of a minor expense would it be?
Do we, do we have an estimate from Public Works? Because it was part of the asphalt contract. It wasn't a separate purchase, I thought.
Oh.
I don't have that number for tonight, so I don't know what that is.
Let me see what we've,
They could have been. I know Alan was looking at the asphalt level and stuff like that, but I don't, a number wasn't
right.
relayed to me.
There was not a new spending budget item submitted with it, though. So if they couldn't complete it within the confines of the money they already have, we would have seen that happen. But there wasn't a new funding request at all.
Someone is beeping? Okay. Is there any more discussion on this item? I'm not seeing any. I think we're ready to vote.
Peckham,
We didn't quite hear you, Pat.
Alder Peckham? Martins?
Aye.
Killian?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Wadinski?
Aye.
McElhaney? Rasmussen?
Aye.
Watson?
Aye.
Herbst? Larson? Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you. Moving on to file number 200709. It's a joint resolution from Finance and HR, creating a sign-on hiring bonus. I would entertain a motion. Motion by Larson, second by McElhaney. Is there any discussion on this? Okay, I think we thoroughly discussed this in both committees. I think we're ready to vote.
Rasmussen? Watson?
Aye.
Herbst?
Aye.
Larson?
Aye.
Peckham?
Aye.
Martins?
Aye.
Killian?
Aye.
Neal?
Aye.
Wadinski?
Aye.
McElhaney?
Aye.
Motion passes 10-0.
Thank you very much. The last item on our agenda is for public comment and suggestions, if there's anybody that would like to step forward for public comment. All right, I'm not seeing anybody. I would take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Neal, second by Larson. I guess we're all in favor of this. Thank you very much.